welcome back to the Morning Bell. Like Raj said earlier on, this is the perfect timing for me and Raj to ask all the questions. You know what, 2 weeks ago I had a bad fall and I think I'm taking it for granted. I'm still feeling the pain.
Right, and still managed to complete the Viper Challenge, so that's an admirable attempt.
Exactly. That is why, you know what, I'm going to ask Edmund Lee. He is the Executive Director from MyORTHO Rehab to guide me along the way because, you know, I wear 6 inches killer heels almost every day. Sometimes I do hosting as well, stand there on stage for like 5 hours. And you know what, guys, as well, I'm sure you have like fancy shoes as well.
Yep, we do have fancy shoes, but of course we don't have to go through such pain to look beautiful and look taller in front, in public, of course. But nevertheless, in fact, for those who are very involved in sports, especially running, which is a high impact, affects the knee, affects the joints and all that, well, these are things which are a big concern, especially in the long run, because of the damage it can do. And of course, Edmund here will be able to share with us the do's and don'ts. Edmund, thank you for being on our show this morning.
And good morning to you, Edmund. Edmund, why don't you share with us about your background first?
Well, basically, MyORTHO Rehab is an orthotic specialist center, and we don't do surgery and we don't do medication. We believe in alternative preventive medicine. So we always urge people to come in basically for a foot check or knee check or even spine check before it gets worse. And basically from my background, it's just like this company, MyORTHO, started from 3 generations. And my grandfather was the first Malaysian Chinese, started orthotics and prosthetic when those days in hospital Kuala Lumpur. And then my father went into this line and I have to go to this line. So,
Natural progression, right?
Yes. I always wanted to become a doctor, but grandfather was saying is like you have to go into this line. You have no choice.
Right. Don't mind me asking, do you have any siblings?
Yes, I've one brother and sister. Well, they are fortunate enough basically going to their own profession.
Unlucky one.
Yes.
How come you don't get to choose?
Well, I'm the eldest and the oldest. Yes.
Makes a lot of sense. That's right.
So if, let's say, at that time you are not being forced to be an orthotist, what would you be today?
Well, I wanted to become a pharmacist, actually.
Pharmacist,
yeah, it's just like I was interested in drugs, but I'm dealing with footwear and orthotics now is something like drugs now.
Right. Now, coming back, you say this business is 3 generations.
Yes.
When was it initially formed by your grandfather?
Was started by my grandfather was 1978.
Right.
Yeah, and then when my father went overseas and studied to London, and then he came back about 1980s as well to carry on the business.
Right. And MyORTHO Rehab specifically?
No, it's just was started by Lee Prosthetic and
That's
Orthotics.
Right. That was the original company.
Also original, but MyORTHO Orthotic Center, basically we specialize in terms of preventive medicine, in terms of doing with orthotics and footwear, special footwear.
So it's more specialization in that sense. And when was this formed?
Was about 2010.
Right.
Yeah, that's about 3 years old now.
Right. So how many years do you have to study?
Well, in terms of prosthetics and orthotics, and looking about like 4 years. Yeah, 4 years, and then you have to go to clinical placement to work in the hospital for a year to gain the experience. Then before you qualify as a orthotist and prosthetist. Yeah.
Now you mentioned the word orthotics. Now, for most of the lay persons out there, they'll be wondering what is that. It's not a very common word. So what is it actually?
Well, basically, orthotics is everyone uses orthotics as well. It's like one of your glasses is considered orthotics as well. And orthotics is a medical term. What we call is a support or even correction devices for your bodies in a way that is like if your body injured or even your body certain can't move, but you need orthotics to support your body. Yeah, that's what we call orthotics.
So spectacles, glasses are orthotics because they aid you in your...
Another form what we call orthotics is like braces or support. It's a layman terms. Yeah, and medical terms will be orthotics. Yeah.
Right.
So how many types are they of orthotics?
Well, orthotics, there's basically started range from head to toe. Head to toe is basically there's some like you need neck orthotics or probably like body braces where have some children have scoliosis. Scoliosis like basically there's S curve. They need they can't go for surgery. It's a bit too risky. It's like until it get really worse, then you have to go for surgery. But what we do is normally do a braces. Braces to try to correct or even support it, preventing getting worse. And then you have knee braces for those who are OA patient with osteoarthritis patient.
Arthritis,
Yeah,
yes.
arthritis patient, and then ACL or PCL injuries, and then you have foot support, orthotic insole, which is something like this.
Right.
Yeah, insole to support your feet, putting the right alignment to the feet. Yeah.
Now, looking at what we see on the table right now, the emphasis seems to be more towards the feet.
Feet, yes.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Now, what's the reason behind the feet, given the fact that you would think that this would be the least important part with regards to the entire body?
Yes. Well, basically the feet is, we have 26 bones plus 2 bones on the feet. And looking at it is like there's what we call, there's tendency of malalignment. Yeah, tendency is like, just imagine a car with a tire. In tendency of 6 months or 9 months, it's slightly out of alignment. You have to stand back.
Balancing alignment.
Balancing alignment.
How does it really work?
Well, basically, it's just like it. Ideally, with the foot position, which God created us, everything should be neutral position.
Right.
As over the years of wear and tear, everything, the tendency of basically roll up, roll down, or even they're born with it in improper shoes. They probably like those European people. They have higher arch, and which causes a lot of pain in the knee and the back muscles as well.
Oh, because it's all interlinked, right?
Yes,
From the
interlinked,
foot,
yes.
it goes up to the leg, to the spine, and all the way to the
Go
neck.
to the neck as well.
Wow.
It's internet, but basically it's internal causes with knee and back muscles as well. Yeah, because there's tendency if there's one, if the feet rolls in, the tendency was roll in as well.
Right.
And then basically the compensation comes from the back muscles as well.
Does gaining weight also gives a problem as well?
Well, there's one chance, there's one possibility as well that it causes the foot problems and knee problems as well.
Because of the extra weight
Extra
you're
weight
putting,
to the
the pressure
feet,
on your knee, on your ankles and your foot.
Yes, yes.
Now, one thing is, based on what you have just mentioned, I understand that there's a specialist, which is a podiatrist,
Yes.
which focuses or specializes in the foot. How are they different from what you do?
Well, basically podiatrists, they are one profession, they're specialized on the feet. What they do is basically studying on more details on the feet, but they could do a minor surgery, like in terms of nails and ingrown toenails and calluses as well, but we don't do. We basically, what we do from head to toes in terms of orthotics, basically doing prescribing the right orthotics to the patient. Studying their alignments wise as well.
What about Chinese sensei and Chinese acupuncture as well? Because, you know, where we always have a fall, where we have any problem, what does our parents tell us? Go to see Chinese sensei lah.
urut.
Yes, yes.
Urut.
It's quite common. It's just like, unfortunately, in Malaysia, it's very common in Malaysia. But basically, with the Chinese sensei or probably the Chinese sensei, acupuncturists, they are mainly looking at basically pain management.
Right.
Yeah, pain management. They doesn't really look at alignment wise in terms of prescribing the orthotic insole as well.
Right. So it doesn't address the core or the problem.
Yeah, basically, it will give you a pain
source.
relief for time being until basically, but the pain will still comes back.
But don't they also, you know, when they do a deep massage at the time, they say, oh, okay, your L4 and your L5 is out of alignment. I'm like, wow, you don't even need x-ray for that. Or maybe sometimes they do ask for our x-ray as well.
Well, it's quite common as well. As like they will tell you there's malalignment, but ideally the right way, you should take an x-ray or MRI.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you study, do you have this essence in your subject as well?
Well, we don't do a massage or acupuncturist. And basically, it's like we're mainly on prosthetics and orthotics as well.
So it's more on a scientific approach,
basically looking at engineer part into the braces and support. How should we, like there's a malalignment to the feet or this flat-footed or high arches, like what sort of insole that we should prescribe to the patient.
Now, talking about generally, like in Malaysia, do you have any statistics to talk about the number or percentage of people who are actually suffering such related
Unfortunately, we don't
problems?
have. But last year, what we did is like we organized the first Malaysian healthy feet and spine carnival at Tropicana City Mall. Last year was the largest one. We did the largest for screening. We hit by the Malaysian board record as well with 5,000 people in just one day. Yeah, and from our statistics, looking about like 85% people have like pronated feet or flat-footed as well, and compared to a normal feet.
Right. I think I fall into that category because my feet also collapses inwards. My alignment is all out.
A lot of people doesn't really realize they have flat feet, or even what we call pronated, the whole feet turns
That's right.
in
That
as well.
inwards.
Yeah,
That's right.
inwards as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting because when I was playing very active sports like basketball, futsal, when I move a lot, I have a tendency to collapse on my
even
ankle
more,
and I
yes.
twist my ankle very easily, and I think it's because
Yes.
my
You
alignment
feel
of the
yourself
foot is
wobble
like,
a bit lah
Yes.
when
Yes,
you run.
that's right. That's right. So with regards to that, is it age? Would age be a major denominator, or what would be the major reasons why you would
Well,
have such?
yeah, in a way that's
foot
like when as you start to age and the muscles get weaker, and the tendency everything tends to go basically our alignment as well.
Right.
But the most important thing is like this: the improper shoe, improper footwear also will cause one of the factors as well.
Right, right.
Do you get it now, Raj?
I have,
Aging.
in fact,
Aging.
exactly. Hey, no, still young, still young. Mine's still young, but body unfortunately is not so young. Okay, now we have talked about the various problems which we all would have out there, but now the question is, what is the solution if you are facing such a scenario? Well, please stick with us here on the Morning Bell, but when we come back, we're going to speak to Edmund what we can do to address it before it's too late. Hi, you're back on the Morning Bell. We are with Edmund Lee today, who's Executive Director of MyORTHO Rehab Center. Now, Edmund, one thing we would like to ask is, of course, people over time will face all these problems.
Yes.
Now, the million-dollar question is, would it be fair to say that women are more likely to suffer from this kind of problems compared to men by the mere fact of wearing high heels? That's
High
right, 6
heels.
inches, there you have
6
it.
inches, there.
Yes, it's true. It's just like basically the ladies are prone for more injuries as well by wearing high heel shoes. That's what we see a lot of ladies in our center compared to a man. We always believe that men has higher pain tolerance compared to a ladies. It's like
True.
yeah, so that's tendency we see most of is ladies as well.
But usually for your patients to come to see you, do they just come to see you when they have great pain, when they're in pain, or they just walked in and because they say, oh, so there's such things in the market now, maybe I should go check it out and find out?
Well, for probably last few years ago, it's like those people come to us, they are great
Right.
pain,
Right.
Yeah.
but lately for the last couple of years as well, we have did a lot of awareness as well. People start to be more educated, prevention. Yeah, they come to us like, oh, before I've more greater pain, I have to do something before it's too late. Yeah.
So for those who just walked in and just want to find out, because like me, I don't feel any pain.
Yes.
Yet.
Yes.
Hey, look, I don't. Okay,
Yet.
I don't. Would it be, if I, let's say, go through the whole process
Yeah.
just to check and then might find out something that it's
Yeah,
not
it's true.
right?
It's like we offer free foot assessment to public as well, in the way that's like educating on what's their foot type. And just imagine your eyesight. Everyone probably needs glasses, but depends when do you really need glasses,
Right.
when really need to see or probably need to see far. Everyone tendency have like a long sighted or short sighted in terms of feet as well. If tendency, some people have like more pronation or even like basically even severely pronation. Yeah.
But I think you're right with regards to awareness. Some people think it's normal, the aging process whereby, oh, it's nothing. Like for me, when I started having these injuries, I thought that it seems to be something more to that because I keep getting it
Yes.
over and over again. So it all boils down to being aware, right?
Probably you think that you have arthritis.
No, lah. I think that I'm just clumsy or I'm too,
But I always say that to patients as well. Normally, if a body or probably part one feet or your knee give you sore,
Right.
some sores, like it's not pain, but that's the tendency the body will give you a signal.
Right.
Yeah, it's going to give you a signal before you get pains.
That's
so
right.
it depends on you whether you want to choose to do something before it pains or until during pain time.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned something very important, which I'm sure all the viewers out there would like to know. You mentioned that they can come in to do a screening. Now,
Yes.
what kind of screening can you do to determine the
Yes.
state of your foot? for
Well,
example?
basically, it's like we don't do X-ray or it's like we don't do really look at internal. We look at like external, the alignment-wise. Basically, first of all, we look at the foot type. See what your foot type is. It's like in terms of alignment, how much degrees. Like ideal person should be about like 0 to 4 degrees. Anything more than that is considered sort of moderate and severe.
Right.
And then we see how they walk with it. Really, their walking pattern and their gait is then in mild gait pattern as well. Yeah. Then from that we do some muscle tests and joint assessment. Yeah, from that is like we tell us basically what's their ideal problem or probably the future problem they will have.
What about for children?
Yeah, children.
children?
Yes, we love to see children. Basically, that's our basically with our expertise, and because we believe that we should see children as early as possible before it's too late.
Before all the bone structures.
Yes.
Forms.
Yeah, forms as well. Just imagine, it's like I always tell parents as well that if there's a young tree at home, a young tree that is basically that's 4, what do? You use a stick to support it, right? It's the
That's
same
right.
thing.
To
It's
help
just
it while it grows.
while it grows. It's orthotics. That's what you're doing at home. Is orthotics, and the same thing with children as well. If that tendency all flats, you say, "Oh, you're outgrown it." Tendency, do you think that you're outgrown it? No, not
Would
really.
there be any sign to tell if the child is not
There's
walking
a few signs. It's like if your child basically doesn't want to go to school, or it's like for some reason, and he doesn't want to basically participate in some exercise, they have like pain.
Probably
or
they have pain
Yeah, they have
already.
pain, or probably like some aches as well. Or middle of the night, they're crying. It's like they have pain. Yeah,
Around the foot area?
around the foot or probably the knee area.
But it would be rare because when you think about it, kids are generally born,
Yeah.
normally it hasn't gone through the wear and tear process yet, right?
No, it's like if the whole thing is what we call, we see a lot of children with severely flat-footed,
Right,
and
okay.
tendency this bone will start protruding as well. That's
Okay.
what it start get a bit sore and pain as well.
Born like that?
Yeah,
Is
what
it-
what mainly is like if the parents has that flat foot, chances of the next
The
generation, the gene will has.
Oh, it's hereditary to
yes,
some extent,
yes,
is
some-
it?
some
So
extent
what's
of
going to
it.
happen if they don't get treated?
If you don't get treated, they can still walk. Don't worry. It's like, but the rest of their life, sadly to say, they still have flat feet. Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, if you come to us early, we tend to basically try to correct as much as possible. Yeah, so that you won't be collapsing severely. Yeah.
That's the good news if you're a kid and you how do you manage to diagnose this early. What about those who are not so young anymore?
Yeah.
Like me, for example. So what are the options out there?
Well, there's a lot of option for older people or probably elderly people as well. Like for children, what we always say is correction, and for adults and elderly people, we always use the term as support.
Right.
Yeah,
Support, yeah.
unfortunately, we cannot correct. For adults, it's like basically every bones, everything, the structure is already fixed,
Okay.
and we're trying to prevent it getting worse. That's the main.
Okay.
That's the main objective. Like for example, there's OA knee patient, like with arthritis patient, we should have like they have a lot of pains on the knee. The tendency, if you don't protect it or prevent it, they have to go for knee replacement one day.
Wow.
So our job is to delay it and prevent it getting worse.
That's
yeah.
right.
So
yeah.
with what help that
With a
you
knee
can-
proper knee
with a
brace, knee brace is trying to support the knee in a way that trying to against rubbing each other as well.
Right, the friction and all that,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Now, you obviously are looking in terms of options outside surgery
Yes,
first. Surgery is like the last resort.
Yeah.
Now I can see some examples there where you have
Yeah.
actually what special shoes. These are like for the kids.
Yeah, for the kids as well. Yeah, some special shoes for some CP childs, like cerebral palsy children, which they tiptoeing or basically they walk really severely pronated.
Right.
You need basically a strong heel counter shoe to support it,
To support.
so that it won't basically goes in
Right.
further.
So you
Yeah.
also have for adults, I'm
For
sure.
I have adults and children as well. What I don't see many adults enjoy wearing this type of shoe. Basically,
Not very fashionable. I
Yes.
can't imagine
Exactly,
Joanne
yeah.
wearing
You
shoes
see,
like this.
that's the next question I would like to ask. Of course, you know, the older ladies that they come in, yes, they might say, oh, okay, fine, yeah, I need to correct. What about people like at my age, they walked in and said, okay, we need to custom make a shoe for you, but the design is going to be,
Well, I
You
think
face
there's
problem like that.
Malaysian. There's a lot of misunderstood or probably
Conception.
conceptions. Why when you can see us is like we don't basically make a custom made shoe
Okay.
yet. For making a custom made shoe, unless you have a deformed feet or diabetic feet.
Very serious.
Yeah, but the main important thing is like we have to make an insole to them.
okay.
Yeah,
Right.
just imagine the glasses as the lenses is more important
Right.
than the frame.
Like what
Yeah.
you're holding
Yeah,
right now.
that's an insole. It's just like the whole thing is just like we're trying to support
Right.
the feet in a better position and the ideal position of the
So
feet.
does it mean that I can have that and put it in any other
You can put it in
it's-
shoe.
Yeah, for ladies it's much more challenging because
Because
you have
heels.
different types of shoes, and that's what is like you have to tell us what type of shoe that you wear. Then you probably customize
6
it.
inches killer heels?
That's a bit of a problem.
yeah, yeah. Honestly,
Just
yeah.
like
Yes.
Victoria Beckham, we
Yeah.
heard about
6
the
inches
stories.
killer-
Well,
heels.
that's the thing is like we don't stop anyone from wearing high heel shoes.
Yeah.
Like you're debating health and fashion.
That's
Yeah.
And
right.
yes,
Yeah.
and basically
But-
with that,
yeah.
we would suggest is like making a slim cut high heel insole.
But,
try to put inside the high heel
Edmund,
shoes.
in the long run, because I'm at the age of 3.3 series already, 33 years old, Yes, maybe it's the age factor that I cannot wear high heels for like more than 5 hours. But in a long run, let's say 10 years down the road, what problems can I face?
For high heel, for
Yes.
wearing high heel shoes, yes, it's true. If you wear a high heel shoe all the time,
Right.
tendency that everything in different
Yeah.
angle.
Yeah.
First of all, your tendon, the Achilles tendon at the back, will get a lot shortened.
Okay.
Yeah,
Ooh.
and when you tennis, basically you get a lot of like pressure on the forefoot as well.
Right.
Yeah, that's what we have got bunions and get like hammer toes or even like motor neuroma, which is inflammation of the nerve as well. You constantly pressure on the forefoot and you get deformity
What's
quicker.
the implication in the long run? Like, how does it affect the rest of your body?
Yeah, of course, ideally the feet should be basically in stable and
Sure.
the neutral position. If a constant this position, you get like back pain and even knee pain. And
Oh, knee pain
yes,
as well.
Yes.
I thought the most common one is back pain.
Yeah, but if you constantly putting in this position, that the knee
Then
in
the
different
knee would
angle,
be-
yeah,
We
so
have to kind of walk
compensate.
straight again.
Yes, yeah.
So yeah, we need to take a short commercial break. If you have any questions for Edmund, please do send us an email at updates@capitaltv.my or tweet us at the Capital TV. So coming up next, we'll find out what is the future plans for MyORTHO Rehab. So stick around, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Right, welcome back to the Morning Bell. My name is Joanne together with Raj Arya. So Edmund, I assume that cabin crew and front desk officer in a hotel industry.
Not to mention
always-
those athletes, those who
Yes.
love to run
Right.
and
Athletes.
engage in activities. So they'll be the ones who are most prone to having this kind of problems.
Injuries as well, yeah.
Injuries as well.
So
Yeah.
like Raj, what can you help him?
Well, I think I have flat-footedness, and this is where I actually got the insoles similar to yours.
Yes.
Now, I understand that there are some people who actually mention that you're supposed to wear this all the time
Yes.
in order for
correct
you
it.
to
Yeah.
correct
Yeah.
it. So, what are your thoughts? Or
Well,
feedback on
basically,
that?
unfortunately, it's like this is an Asian country, as like it's our barefoot culture, and always tell the patient if you do walk a lot at home, then you have to wear it. But
Right.
if you're going to toilet or dinner, that's it. It's like just forget it. It's like just wear it outside at home as
Right.
well. But I have some patients like wear that during sleep when they're bedtime. I said it's a bit silly, right?
Of course.
Because
Yeah.
they thought that it works as a
Yeah,
braces as well.
it's different concept. It's like whenever you're weight
Of
bearing.
course, when you're putting
weight-
pressure on your
yeah,
your
weight
feet.
bearing. Then you have to wear the insole.
That's right. That's right.
So Edmund, can you advise me in terms of choosing shoes?
Well,
Ah.
yeah.
That's right.
For female or for male, because not many of us would custom made
Yes.
shoes. Even though custom made, we still need to check what's our problem
Yes.
before. So what's your advice?
Well, basically my advice, or probably my auto advice, normally you get your feet checked first. It's just like understanding what's your foot type before buying a shoe. And second is like for ladies, and anything more than 2 inches is basically
Her dad and not 2 inches only,
Yeah,
not
any-
6.
Ah,
anything more than
yeah.
2 inches that they damage more to your knee and your back muscles as
Anything
well.
more than 2 inches.
Inches, yeah.
That is going to
Short,
be a
still very
challenge.
short.
That is going to be a challenge to all the ladies out there, because those days, I remember 10 years ago, minimum we need to wear 3 inches to 4 inches. Nowadays, we have those peep toes and pumps. It must be 6 inches. Now,
Yes.
anything more than 2 inches,
It's
it's
going to
a,
damage to your knee and back muscles
That's
as well.
right.
But the last option is like always advice to ladies is to whenever you go for long walks or even to your car park, just change back to your normal
That's right.
footwear.
okay, maybe
basically
as a
flat.
consolation, if we still want to wear 6 inches killer heels, how long can we wear?
Looking
how many
is like,
hours?
yeah, you should like probably half an hour and half an hour
Oh,
break.
that's it. Quickly go and change, then change
Yes,
back.
yeah.
Okay, what about for men?
For men, it's basically you need. I've seen a lot of men is like they choose a bit very narrow,
Oh, okay.
pointed shoes is due to fashion as well.
Okay.
Yeah, which causes a lot of like foot problem later
Right.
stage as well. They should choose according to their forefoot,
Okay.
foot
Wider lah, that
width,
means
yeah,
to fit,
as well. And then the buying shoes is important to walk around the shoe store for probably for half an hour before deciding to buy a shoe. Yeah, because it's like important. I've seen a lot of ladies, they buy their shoes in the market morning. Yeah, and it's true. It's like you never buy your shoe
Oh,
in
it
the
looks
morning.
very nice. Oh, it
Yeah.
fits, that's
Why?
it.
Yeah.
Why? In the morning?
No,
Why?
you never buy your shoes in the morning. Basically, with the
Water
should buy-
retention. Water
it's not
retention.
expansion.
Yeah, expansion is
yeah.
like basically they expand during in the afternoon. So it's important to buy your shoe late in the afternoon as well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So that's one tip for everyone
Yeah.
out there.
You mentioned just now there's a few foot
Yeah.
types. Can you
Yeah.
just recap for us?
Well, basically the first foot type will be the what we call pronated. And
Okay.
tendency
Inwards,
inwards, everything
okay,
slopes
collapses
in,
inwards.
and as well as like, and then we have a very severe, which
Right.
doesn't have an arch.
Ah.
Yeah, as a lot of people think it's like, what's the objective of the arch?
Yeah.
Got hole there, like, you know,
the
like it's a
whole-
gap.
yeah.
Yeah.
there's one patient told me that's for ventilation.
That's a good one.
That's a
but
good one.
it's not really true. It's
Yeah.
basically for shock absorption.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
you don't if it doesn't have the arch there, it's like you get a lot of stress consequences to the knee and the back as well. Yeah, just imagine like a duck and a chicken
Right.
who runs faster. Of course, chicken, right?
Right,
The
right.
ducks is a bit flat.
So that's
yeah.
what it means by flat-footed, because there's no arch, then it's flat. Is
Yeah.
that how the flat-footed
Yes,
word
yes.
came about?
Yeah.
Maybe some other people will be thinking that if there's no arch there, you're not normal because
Yeah.
feet are supposed to be on the ground.
Yes.
That's true. So what are
Which
the
is
other
some,
types?
the other types will be high arch.
Okay.
Yeah, they basically the arch is on the highest.
high.
Too high.
Oh.
We basically happen into some Europeans or Caucasian people as
Right.
well.
Not so much in Asians.
Asians is much more probability is much more lower.
Right,
We
right.
have like because we tendency because of our barefoot, we can
yeah.
has the flat foot.
Right. Then I understand there's some also where you collapse outwards, or the
Yes.
tendency where
Yeah,
it's-
tendency is supinated position
Ah,
as well.
supinated.
There's those for high arch. Like for example, if you had ankle sprain once a month,
Ankle sprain, right?
and this ankle sprain once a month, it shows that your feet is probably this what we call supinated position.
Right.
As you shouldn't have an ankle sprain once a month. This is like it's not common.
Right, right. Now, one thing is, since we're talking about foot, one of the most common things that Malaysians love to do is reflexology.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Ah, that's right. Can you give us your opinion?
Yeah. Basically,
regards to reflexology?
everyone can go for reflexology. Is like, but the only thing my advice to some people with diabetic people or arthritis people just to watch out is like because some reflexologists is not trained in terms of understanding your feet.
Pressure
Yeah,
points
the
and
pressure
all.
points might be too excessive or too probably it might further damage to the nerve as well. As like
Right.
I have one patient after going for reflexology. They had to go for amputation.
Ah,
due to,
oh my God.
Yeah, it's just like
Why?
because he has a severe diabetes and one of the reflexology in China is like too much pressure
Right.
and damage the
So
joints.
actually,
everything,
foot reflexology does work as well because there are a debate out there. People says that, "Hiya, you're just wasting your money, 60 ringgit per hour for
Yeah.
nothing."
Well, it's just like for wellness and relaxation. I think
Right.
it's more. But reflexology is just like if you go to a proper ones, like they'll tell you in terms of your pressure point and all this. It's much more like rather than compared to those who are not qualified one. They give them basically pushing. Yeah.
Right. Now, we've been focusing quite a fair bit on the foot. Very quickly, can you just tell us the other aspects of the body which you focuses on? I think
Yeah,
another
with the
major
knee
area
as well as like which is quite common for like ACL or PCL for athletes.
Sports injuries,
Sports
yeah.
injuries as well. They need or they need a knee brace to support it, or before they go for surgery or after the surgery. And then for elderly people, it's like they need a brace to preventing getting worse. Yeah, and then later parts like we have spine, or basically body jacket, or
Right.
even what we call spinal orthotics to prevent like the slip disc or
Okay.
even like
Yep,
we have
yep.
spondylitis, all this back pain.
Right, right. Now, we are almost at the tail end of our show. You mentioned like last year you had the big...
Because
Yeah,
Ex-
they basically the Healthy Feet and Healthy Spine carnival in Malaysia and the largest foot screening in Malaysia
Right.
as well.
Now, are there any plans to have something similar to that
Yeah, we're
in
planning is like
2030?
we're going to have a skip this year, is like due to manpower,
Right.
but we're going to do that next year. That's the largest as well, and this is probably the first ever place a healthy foot and spine carnival, or to educate the public.
I think it's a brilliant idea because I do recall I was there last
Oh,
year. There was a
okay.
big crowd, and
Yes,
then
yes.
you get a chance to see
Yes,
you go for all the tests and also the feedback to speak to all the consultants
yes,
in
yes,
terms of
yeah.
what needs to be done in terms of preventing it from getting worse. Are there any other smaller things which you are planning for later this year? Or
Well,
focusing on?
I think this like we for this year, next couple of years is like we're going to work alongside with the government as well to regularize the orthotic insole.
Right.
Unfortunately, in Malaysia, it's not regularized. It doesn't
Okay.
regularize in terms of if I prescribe you orthotic insole, if it's not fitting, it's not you probably can make a report or anything.
Right.
But unfortunately, in Malaysia, we don't have regulation in terms of orthotic insole.
right.
It ends up like there's a lot of Tom, Dick, and Harry prescribing orthotic insole, which is not the right one, causing more pain and
because
knee
we
pain
do
as well.
see that there's somewhere it's like a free size kind of
Yes, yes.
insole, but that's not the right way.
It's not the right way. It's like, for example, your spectacles, you won't get from a normal store, right? You have to go to optician. It's the
That's
same
right.
thing with the insoles.
Nobody is the same.
Yes,
Yeah,
nobody is
exactly.
saying. The feet as well, although you have 26+2 bone, everyone has different alignment. Yeah, we always use the degrees in terms of alignment as well. So we would hope that one day we're going to regularize, not the government, probably with us as well, regularize the prescription orthotic insole. And then in terms of education, we're going to educate more public in terms of what's the right way of choosing shoe, right way of choosing.
As
the
you always say,
footwear.
prevention is always better than
Yes.
cure. Now, if someone would like to find out more information with the services you offer, where can they look for this?
Well, basically we have 3 centers, basically one in KK, Kota Kinabalu, as well as like one in PJ, Petaling Jaya, and then one in Cheras, Kuala Lumpur. And then you can visit our website, www.myortho.com.my.
Right, which you can see on the screen right now.
yes.
And you also obviously have a Facebook page.
Yes, we have a MyORTHO Malaysia. The MyORTHO Facebook page is basically educate the public in terms of their feet and their spine, or even drop us the emails like or messages like if they need more extra information.
And the best part about it, sometimes you have special sales and promotions whereby people can come and do their checkup and also buy such orthotics at a special price, right? Joanne, you love those, right?
Yes.
I love
special deals.
I love free stuff, free screening. Right, to all our viewers out there, you know where to find Edmund if you would like to go for a screening. Don't take things for granted. Let's just start it out by today. And that's all the time we have today. Joanne and Raj signing off. We'll see you tomorrow again, same time, same place right here on Morning Bell. And have a fantastic Monday and goodbye.
Don't forget to take care of your feet.
Happy feet.
Happy feet.
Happy feet.